Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about how Donald Trump can win back the 2020 presidential election. So basically, he is the incumbent, and as an incumbent, he does have the advantage going into the presidential election. However, over the past couple of months, we have seen that Biden is absolutely destroying Trump in the polls. But what I wanted to talk about is which states Trump could focus on and which kind of strategies he could use to win back the White House. So this is because Donald Trump has actually been doing a little better in the month of July than he did in June. I think it was a massive improvement for the Trump campaign, mainly because the Black Lives Matter protests died down a little bit and they're not getting covered on the news as much. They're still occurring all over the country, but they're just not as predominant as they were in the month of June. So we would look at the local politics polling average here. Looking at this, the month of June started around right there. That is, Biden went up a lot in the polls. He went up 3-4%. And then after that, looking at the month of July, basically the days in late July and early August, Donald Trump really started to do some catching up, and he is now at 42% with Biden at 49%. Biden has dropped down below 50% again, and yet he now has a 6.4% lead. Now, compared to 2016, Biden is still outperforming Hillary Clinton by pretty large margins. However, it is still nowhere near his 10% leads he had in late June. And then if we were to look at Donald Trump's job approval, his job approval was very low in the month of June, and basically the beginning of July as well as late June. Basically, he went all the way up to 56% of the country disapproved of him and 41% approved of him. He did go up a little bit, however, it has spiked back down. He's now at 55%. Disapprove and 43% approve. However, basically the trend here is that his approval rating has gone up a little bit since the month of August has began, and this is why I want to talk about whether or not Trump can still actually win. Because if you asked me this last month, I would not have said that Trump had a chance, just because Trump was doing so horribly in all the polls. He was down 10%. Even if Donald Trump wins the election without the popular vote, he cannot lose the election by 10%. It is theoretically possible, but the chances of that are just so low, because that would mean that Trump would have to win no votes in some states for that to happen, and Biden would have to win basically votes in every single state and lose every single state by a very small margin. And then looking at the betting odds, the betting odds really haven't changed too much. However, basically the trend is that Trump's chances of winning the election have gone up a little bit. However, most people still do believe that Biden will win the 2020 election, but I think that definitely Trump still has a chance just because of some of the new data that has come out. So on this electoral map here, this is my electoral prediction for the 2020 election. I believe that Biden will win 352 electoral votes and Donald Trump will win 186. And if you want to know why, you can check out my election prediction video. But I just wanted to talk about which states Trump should actually focus on. So I'm actually just going to first fill in all of the states that Biden, I think, will flip in 2020 in yellow. Basically, these are all the states that Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 that I think Biden will be able to win back in 2020. So these are the states of Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the 2nd District of Nebraska, as well as the state of Arizona. So I think Donald Trump really only needs to win, I believe, all but 2. I think he can, if he wins back Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, and Arizona, he will still win the election. So basically, all Donald Trump needs to do is win back all of these states except for 2 of them. Not win back. I say win back because I don't think Trump is going to win them at this point. But I think Trump can if he improves on his margins in the polls, and I think that Trump definitely can still take these states back, but I think it's growing more and more unlikely as time goes on. So basically, the state of Michigan, I really don't see Trump being able to carry Michigan no matter how well he does. I just think that Michigan has just moved so far to the left now because of Trump. Michigan was actually moving more and more to the left. Trump even won the state by less than 1%. Now he is in the hole by 10% in the state of Michigan. He trails Biden by over 10% in the state he won. That is a 10% swing in favor for Joe Biden. So I really do not see Trump carrying Michigan's 16 electoral votes. I will just give it back to Joe Biden because Biden is just performing very well in Michigan, and also Trump did announce that he would be pulling all ads out of the state just a couple of days ago, which just cements my prediction more that I think Michigan will go to Joe Biden. I think it won't be a solid margin. I think it'll be more of a likely margin at best. I think that a 7-8% margin is most likely for Joe Biden. And then next, I think the other state that Trump has a smaller chance of winning. I mean, sorry for putting Georgia, not Georgia, but I think that another state that Biden will almost definitely win, that I think Trump really doesn't have too much of a chance in, is the state of Pennsylvania. I think that Pennsylvania is polling very well for Joe Biden as well, 8-9% for Biden. I really don't see Donald Trump being able to improve on these margins. And really, if we were to look at polling data, I think Wisconsin will go to Biden too. But just for the sake of this video, I will not give the state of Wisconsin for Joe Biden, just because Wisconsin tends to be the most right-leaning state out of these three states. It voted for Donald Trump by the largest margin, although still less than 1%. It still voted more to the right than the other two states, and Wisconsin does tend to be a little more conservative than the states of Michigan and Pennsylvania. So honestly, Donald Trump just needs to win back Wisconsin as well as these other states. So I think that Ohio is the most likely Trump state. I think that in the state of Ohio, I think Trump actually leads in the polls in Ohio, I think, but I really don't think that if Biden wins, Ohio will go to Trump, just because I don't see it breaking his bellwether streak. Ohio, I think, will be very close, but I still think it will go to Biden, as Biden was leading the polls for quite a bit. I think he just went down in the last couple of weeks in the state of Ohio. However, Ohio, I think Trump can definitely win back. I do still think it will go to Biden, but I think that if Trump puts a lot of time and effort into campaigning in Ohio, I think definitely Ohio is within his reach. And then Wisconsin, I'm just going to give it to him. I think if he really does spend a lot of time there, I think he will win. I think that as long as Biden doesn't make the mistake that Clinton made, she didn't even visit the state of Wisconsin in the last 5 months until the election. So I think that was a grave mistake that she made, and I think that Biden has already said, on interviews, that it was a big mistake by Clinton for not, campaigning in these three states. He has said publicly that Hillary Clinton should not have neglected these three states. So I think that as long as Biden doesn't make that mistake, I think Trump can definitely. I think that if Biden makes that mistake, Trump can definitely win these three states back. I really don't think Trump is going to, but I think that Wisconsin is still within Trump's reach. So let's say we give the state of Wisconsin to Donald Trump. The second district in Nebraska, I'll just give it to Trump. He won it last time by 10%. I think if he spends a lot of time there, I really don't think Biden's going to visit the second district. So I think that if Trump does, I think he will have a chance of carrying the state again. And then that just leaves the states of North Carolina, Florida, and Arizona. They have all been pretty reliable for the Republicans, with the exception of the state of Florida. Arizona has gone to a Republican since 2000, North Carolina about the same amount of time. But I think in North Carolina, it's polling pretty well for Biden right now, 2-3% in a state that Hillary Clinton lost by 6% in 2016. So I think that if Donald Trump, like the state of Wisconsin, spends time in North Carolina, I think he will be able to flip it. I think that Wisconsin and North Carolina are going to vote pretty similarly if they go to Trump. I think they're all going to be very small margins, but if it goes to Biden, these two states, I think Wisconsin would definitely have a larger margin of victory. And then the last two states, the states of Arizona and Florida, I think these two states are also some states that are pretty hard for Trump to win back. I think that in the state of Arizona especially, Arizona has moved much further to the left since 2016. It has been moving to the left for quite a bit. The Phoenix metro area is the fastest growing region in the United States, and the growth is mainly from new Hispanic and Latino voters, and that directly translates to Democratic voters, because they are not going to vote for a Republican, at least 99% of them. Joe Biden has an over 90, 92, 94% hold on the Latino demographic. But I think that Trump, if he, basically I think he just needs to spend time in these states, really. I think that Arizona, it's polling only in favor for Joe Biden by around 2-3%. So I think that Arizona is also within Trump's reach. I think if he really spends a lot of time there, I think he can definitely hold on to the state. And then lastly, looking at the state of Florida. Florida, honestly, I would say that it's pretty much gone for Trump if you asked me this a couple of months ago. But I think that now, just because Biden's lead has been shrinking a little bit in many key states, including the state of Florida, he only leads by 5% here. He was leading by over 7% just a month ago. But I think that Trump, the coronavirus, honestly, I think is the biggest key factor that is leading to Trump losing in the state of Florida, just because cases are spiking quite a bit there. And Florida has done a lot of, opening and reopening. So I think a lot of people in the state of Florida are getting tired of that, and I think that's why they're swaying away from Donald Trump. But I think that if Trump, again, spends time in these states, I think he will be able to flip them back. Hold on to them, but I say flip them back just because I think they will go to Biden. But basically, I think these states he really needs to focus on are these states of Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Wisconsin. And then, he can even lose the 2nd District of Nebraska. I'll just give that to Biden. Oh, wait, no, he can't. Okay. Okay, I think he definitely needs to hold on to the 2nd District or the 2nd District of Maine. So I think he needs to win both of these districts in order to keep being the president of the United States. I think it is really just these states that are going to decide the election. I think Michigan and Pennsylvania are so far gone now for Donald Trump that he should just not focus too much on these states and just focus on winning re-election instead of focusing on winning by a large margin. So I think that, like Obama, if he were to win, he would definitely win by a smaller margin, although that margin, it can't really be that big because he only won 306 electoral votes. I think that 270 is honestly the best number I can give Donald Trump right now. So basically, I just think that Trump can still win the election as of now. I think his chances have improved after the month of July, but a lot can change in 3 months. So we'll just look at how things go in the next 3 months for Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like as well as subscribing to my channel. I will be having a brand new election night out very soon. I think it'll look much better than my first one. It was my first one, so I made it a little more simple. But I think that this election night will definitely be a lot better. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. And I will see you in the next video.